Hello, welcome to White Eagle Talking Circle. We are back in action here with the daily meditations, reading, and reflections. My name is Josiah, and I am an addict. Please introduce yourselves.
I am JC and I am an addict.
I'm Amanda and I'm an addict alcoholic.
Right on. Thank you too for joining me today as we read the meditations with Native American elders. But before we do anything, I'm going to open us up with a prayer. So join me.
I hope.
Sending out those blessings. So I'm gonna jump right into the reading for today and the meditations. Fall meditations with Native American elders, November 21st. In the absence of the sacred, nothing is sacred. Everything is for sale. Oren Lyons, Onondaga. The elders often say that when something is sacred, it has spiritual value. You'll hear on the earth there are sacred spots. You'll hear our ceremonies are sacred. Our children are sacred. Marriage is sacred. When something is sacred, it means it's so holy you can't attach a value to it. Therefore, it's not for sale. It's an insult to suggest buying something sacred. On the other hand, if we look at it differently, as there is no sacred land, ceremonies aren't sacred, our children are not sacred, etc., then everything is for sale. Sacredness creates spiritual space. Sadness makes things holy. Or sacredness makes things holy. Sacredness shows respect for God. Great Spirit, let me honor things that are sacred. I know for me, when I was reading that this morning, this first thing that popped up was that my walk on the red road is sacred. I gotta hold that in high regard and reverence for myself, for just for others that walk with me. I gotta hold that, my walk, I gotta put a high priority on it, a big value on it. Like I gotta make sure that I'm taking care of myself. I gotta make sure I'm doing my self-care weekly, if not daily. I gotta make sure I'm in communication with my higher power about a deal every day. I got to take all these steps to ensure that my walk on the red road is good, because it's something sacred. It's something that Creator has given me another opportunity on top of the thousands of opportunities He's given me before, that I gotta respect it. I gotta respect this walk on the red road. I gotta use my tools. I gotta use my journaling. I gotta use my prayer. I gotta use my meetings in order to just keep moving forward on the red road. And that was just so clear to me as I read the reading today. There's times, get into things are going good and I kind of lax. I let off on my readings, or I let off on my prayer life, and I get into a funk. And so to be better at that, to be more diligent on that level is what was coming through for me today on the reading. And yeah, I just really like today's reading, sacredness. But anyway, with that, I'll pass the mic over to Amanda. Who?
Thanks, Josiah. I read this reading also, and what pops out to me the most is money. I was raised on the Fort Belknap Indian Reservation with my grandma, and she was an elder, and I think about that a lot. I've been thinking about my childhood a lot lately. I'm past 3 years sober now, and I guess with my sobriety, it was really getting back to my roots. And that's family, that's ceremony, that's not denying who I am, you know, and I'm a Native American woman, and I was raised with these ways that when I was drinking and using, I was totally against, you know, and it kind of like really makes me think about that, because when I left the reservation and I went into a world of everything's about money, you know, like you got to make this, you got to make that, you got to do this to survive, and you have to, you know, and it really took over, and here I am buying the things that are destroying my life. You know, I'm buying alcohol, I'm buying drugs, I'm buying, you know, like, really, you know. So what does money really do? You know, it took me away from who I really am, you know. Going back into like my sobriety walk, and this talking circle, and this, you know, coming back into my ways, you know, and really achieving sobriety now, and walking the red road, you know, it doesn't take much to go up on top of the rims and pick some sage, you know. I don't have to buy that, you know. I don't have to buy uh I don't have to buy my way into things. So that being said, with this rating is like, it's more of the ways of the world, you know, like gas is skyrocketing right now, you know, and all these things that people put a value of money on, you know, when in reality, if you just go back to our traditional ways and help people come back into our traditional ways, is when we really achieve wholeness, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think that's all I got. JC, hit it, JC.
Oh,
JC, I am an addict, and one of the things I really like about these readings, listening to you guys, is that you can all get different perspectives on the same thing, and I always like to listen to that. Because when I was reading it, I started, there's so many different directions you can go with it. The material part of it, like, taking care of our planet, um, because it's sacred. Because this is where we live. Another thing too is, like, how does it apply to, my recovery today? But really, the most dominant thought that I had was pre-recovery. Before I started walking the red road. I always said that the biggest thing for me, the biggest change, or you know, the number one factor in all of it was my spirituality, my connection with my higher power, my creator. And before, when I was still using, I was still an active user, I'd say things like, you know, the, that I thought I was supposed to say, or, I acted in a way that I thought I was supposed to act. Uh, Especially when it came to, our culture and our traditions and our the way we practice our spirituality. And I went through those motions, but it wasn't really in my heart. So basically, what I was saying is that I was, FOS, for lack of a better term. I was fooling myself. I wasn't fooling anybody else, even though, in my mind I thought I was. Like, oh, look at me, I'm a Native American, I'm smudging and I'm doing this and that. And then on the flip side, I was, half shot most of the time. So to me, I was full of it. That was just lip service. I was lying. I was nah, and in my mind, you know, and then, but when I finally stopped and I really took to heart, like really honestly took to heart all these things, the spiritual side of it for me, and really did hold those things sacred, then everything changed, right? So like I always say, you can't you can't use drugs and alcohol, abuse those things on a daily basis and then turn around and say, oh well, I made it and I'm doing this without smudging on it. Because those two things don't exist in the same spot. They can't be in the same place. And that was my heart. Um so but when I honestly took you know a real open-minded and honest look at it and replaced one with the other, then that's when everything changed. But I had to be honest with myself, saying, I was just playing Indian. Now I'm living Indian. Like on Little Big Man. I wasn't just I was just playing Indian. Now I'm living Indian. But to me, that's where it took me, because I was, for lack of a better word, I was lying, and to me, I disrespected all my ancestors that came before me, the ones who fought and died and suffered and had to keep things underground, because it was illegal to practice our ways. So many sacrifices before me, just so that I could learn these ways from my elders, who the ones who were teaching me today. So that was just a great disrespect, but it was also a disrespect, to the younger generations, right? Like, because they see what we're doing, they saw what I was doing, and they think, well, you can exist in the same spot. You can do this and you can do that, and they can live together, but that's not true. And so, that's something I think about every day, is the fact that I was just lying to myself. And but once I took everything to heart, once I really honestly said, yeah, this is how I have to walk, I can't just say things. I can't say, oh, I'm a Native American. I'm proud to be Native. I'm proud to be Oxaliga. I'm proud to be Nakota. Blah 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 blah, and then go drink, and then go, abuse women, and then go, commit violent acts against my brothers. That doesn't work like that. So I had to walk the other way. I had to, love first, forgive, try to walk in peace, promote that kind of thing, and really kick out the bad stuff. And some things are just really bad habits. We can't really kick them right away. But a work in progress, and that's all you can do is try to make progress, a little bit of progress each and every day. But I know this guy is a busy man, so I better let him go. Otherwise, I'll be all day. That's all I got. Thanks.
Well, thank you too for joining me and providing your reflections on the meditations with Native American elders today. Very good, man. I learned something today from the both of you. From just, I think the overall thing was like mainstream society we get caught up in that, and we just lose sight of our own sacredness, the sacredness of our own lives, and the sacredness of our walk on the red road. So just to pull back and start responding, that's what's helped me a lot in this 6 years and some change that I've been walking the red road. And responding is huge, and for me, responding is very sacred. I gotta respect that. I gotta put that into play every day. But thank you guys for joining me today. And with that, we'll be back next Sunday with another video. Please share with everyone you know. And with that, we'll close with the silent proclamation. To walk the red road is to offer up a silent proclamation. Here, the destruction stops. We will heal ourselves. We will heal our wounded relationships. We will heal our children. We will heal our nation. On this day, our future history begins. Aho. Chinook.